Well, welcome race fans to Motors TV and to round 5, the midway point of the Japanese Super GT Series from Sportsland SUGO. The 13th time the world's fastest GT championship's been to the city of Sendai on the most northerly circuit of the 9-race season. Well, I'm Mark Cole, bringing you highlights coverage of the race which Nissan has never won despite 12 years of trying. Porsche's won it, McLaren's won it, Honda has won it, and Toyota's dominated it for the past 5 years. Well, Toyota's looking good again today with pole position for 2005 champions Toru Takagi and Yuji Tachikawa in the Zenitsurumo Lexus S430, still looking for their first win of 2006 in a season in which Honda has taken control of the championship. Well, this is Sugo, and what a circuit it is here. Built in the 1980s, bid for the return of Formula One to Japan in 1987. Never got it though. 70 metres of elevation changes, big sweeping corners, and trackside amenities such as golf, tennis and swimming. Well, we're already underway. A very quick start here, and straight into the lead goes Toru Takagi from the Sepan, winning Honda Arta NSX of Britain, Ralph Furman, and Japan's Daisuke Ito, which lead the title chase, but they're not on the front row. The Epson Honda NSX of France's Loac Duval on the front row. And behind them on row 2, starting the Raybrigg NSX for another Frenchman, Sebastian Philippe. And the best of the Nissans is an Arby Nismo Fair Lady Z. 350Z to you and me, of Sugio Matsuda. As we say, it's never ever suited Nissan, this circuit. And already you can see there, we've got Lexus leading, the Zent car there. Toru Takagi on board, the reigning defending champion. Epson NSX of Loac Duval, the Raybrigg NSX for Sebastian Philippe. And then the first of the Nissans. Nissans surprisingly never get into grips of this circuit, despite the fact they're the only turbocharged GT500 runners here. Well, as they start to unwind these opening laps of Sugo, just to look at this circuit, it's way out to the north of Japan, about 250 kilometers from Tokyo. Yamaha's test track though, and in fact in 1991, after losing the bid for the Japanese Grand Prix, it did win the World Superbikes, and that's been a fixture there ever since. Great circuit, say the drivers. These 70 metres of elevation changes, 11 corners in all, and big sweeping corners. Now, one of the main features of this track is the start straight, which is actually tipped over at about 12 degrees, so it's in effect banked, although it's a straight line. Those of you who watched our coverage on Motors last year probably remember the big accident for Marco Apicella when his Lamborghini hit the bridge there and caught fire. Well, that car, that Lamborghini, has since won here. It came, won in the Super GT, came to Suzuka at the beginning of the year, won the opening GT300 round there. It's been to the Le Mans 24 hours since, and it started here today from pole position. We haven't seen that start because, of course, they start in 2 groups. GT500s, first of all, 15 of them, and GT300 cars, 23 of them. Well, no change in the front order at the moment. Still Lexus from Honda, and then Nissan, as they start to reel off the early laps of 81 in total. This race to be going to just under 2 hours in distance. As we say, it marks the midway point of the season. There's the Epson car at the moment of Loac Duval giving chase to Toru Takagi. And the big group behind there, the Raybrigg car, Philippe, and then the Zanavi Nismo car of Sugio Matsuda. Mikhail Krum in the number 22 Motor Ortec Z. He has been rejoined by Richard Lyons. That's the number 22 car there. And in 6th place, this is still the starting order, Andre Lotterer in the open interface Tom's Lexus with Juichi Wakisaka. 3 cars abreast there. This is GT 300, and look at that, 3 cars side by side down to the first corner, and that's our leader just being pushed back there. That was the Lamborghini that's leading. Suddenly he's been pushed out by the number 46 Kicho Husan Duretsu Z of Kota Sasaki. That's the Nissan 350, which is not turbocharged. They run in non-turbo form in GT300, and the other car involved in that fight was the Ebro B-Tech Maziora 350R. So suddenly Nissan in first and second places there in that GT300 fight. Marco Apicella, the man who lost out there in the Murcielago. That's the car run by the Japan Lamborghini Owners Club. So Nissan, Lamborghini, and then Porsche and Mazda fighting it out behind them. Good mix of cars here. The Ferrari's there as well, the Gym Centre car, that car starting a bit further back. The Toy Story Racing MRS. What we haven't seen yet is the bright yellow little drinks car, the Amamiya Aspera Drink RX-7, which won last time out in Sepang. That's the Mazda RX-7 of Tetsuya Yamano and Hiroki Uri. We're back to our race leaders. Still no change up front. Takagi from Duval. And then the two Nissans chasing down the Raybrig car, the NSX there. The two red Nissans, Zanavi Nismo Z and the teammate, both run by Nismo, Japan's official tuning arm. Making the most of these fast, sweeping curves here in the mountains not far from Sendai. Sendai, very European type of city up on the edge of Japan. Two circuits in the area. The other one's Nishi Sendai, which is where they have Japanese touring cars and races of lesser importance. So it's still no change then in the top six. This is how they started, but plenty of fighting going on throughout the field. And that Calsonic Impulse Z, though, of Benoit Trullier, that's coming up through the order now. He's starting to challenge the open interface. Tom's Lexus ahead of him, the car 100. Oh, spinner! Well, that was just too ambitious. That started a long way back, I think. Trullier swinging wide onto the outside of that turn and then spins out on the hairpin that follows. There he goes wide there, gets it back on the track, but by then he's had it. The car just spins out, and that drops Trullier way back in the GT 500 track. So that's a big blow for him there. That's lap 5. Well, one of the problems, one of the Porsches there, backing into the wall. It's the Hankook Endless Porsche, and he's reversed it into the wall. Looks like he's broken a drive shaft because he's only got drive in one wheel, and that is not moving the car at all. Mitsuhiro Kinoshita on board that. That was into turn 1. Well, he's not moving anywhere at the moment. Let's see if they're going to throw the local yellow for that, or are they going to get the safety car, the car there on the inside of turn 1. Meanwhile, Toru Takagi still leading, still looking for this first win of 2006. They've had all sorts of problems with that car, but they really got it hooked up today as they thread through this what's basically the deep ravine in the mountains, very forested. I was here about 8 years ago and very impressed with the track. Looks like many of the American tracks that we see racing on. If you think of places like Lime Rock and Portland, Mid-Ohio, very similar in that sort of layout. Drivers all love it. And today, the first time in the weekend, we haven't had rain here at the circuit. The starting temperature 23 degrees Celsius, and the track surface close to 30 degrees. But you'll notice still no sunshine, very, very overcast here in northern Japan today. Well, already passing back markers. Toru Takagi goes through, but Duval having a little bit of problem getting past the second of the Lamborghinis. That's the Trike Japan Mercy RG. Koji Yamanishi on board that car. Well, there's the rest of the field then, with a spin for Benoit Trullier, dropping him right down the order. There it is, down into 13th place. Took him that long to get back in. So still the Raybrig NSX Honda of Sebastian Philippe leading the two Nissans. Traffic already becoming a problem after only 7 laps of racing. Just having a look through the what's going on further down the championship. Richard Lyons, of course, joining Mikael Krum after the first 3 rounds of the race, because Sakon Yamamoto moved to Formula 1, joined the Aguri Suzuki team, Aguri Formula 1. And that opened the door again for Richard, who decided to move on from Super GT, but they called him back, and he's come back with Mikael Krum. They're obviously looking for a win as well this year. Mikael Krum at the moment lying 4th in the points. Richard a little bit further down in 11th place. Of course, he's only done the one race, but the only one race he did this before coming here in Sepang, he and Mikael Krum won together. So it's sorry, finished second, not one, they finished second in that race, looking to try and improve that day. Well, huge amount of traffic now. There's that Ford GT40 in the middle of all that. That's the car that finished 5th at Sepang, the DHG Advan Ford GT40. He's moving over to let the field go through. That car, of course, based on the one built in South Africa, not the one you can buy direct from the Ford Motor Company. So the Epson car still in second place. Coming through the final corner, up past the pits. That's the top of the hill where Apicella had that big fire in the Lamborghini last year. The car was absolutely destroyed. Again, Duval's finding it very, very hard work. It's a small track, 3.7 kilometres, and we've got 48 cars racing on it. Well, 47 now, because that Hankook tired Porsche appears to be out of the running, hasn't rejoined yet. Oh, touch there. Big touch between, it's Matsuda, Tsugo Matsuda's Zanabi Nismo Z. So there is second, third, fourth and fifth cars all in a train as they come down to the bottom end of the circuit, 70 metres lower than the start straight. The Japanese Super GT Series from Sugo, one of the most attractive tracks on the championship trail. Circuit which we mentioned, in 12 years of racing here, Nissan never ever able to win on it. Twice Porsche won here, McLaren won here, and that was in the hands of Ralf Schumacher. Honda's won it, and Toyota's won it 6 times, and the last 5 years in succession. And in the test session they had here earlier in the year, Toyota again in the form of Lexus, the Lexus SC430s, fastest again. Still looking good, leading the race at the moment. We've got a change here then. The Epson NSX now pushed back 1 place. No, nearly pushing back 1 place. The Zenitsurumo car had a big attack on him then, but couldn't quite make it past. That's what happens. We've got all these back markers here just blocking everybody. Fighting going on further down the field, so let's just seesawing a little bit, but at the moment it looks like Loic Duval really has the measure of the Zent car. 4.5 litres of V8 for the Lexus. Well, the Epson NSX 3 litres of V6. I remember last year when they eventually threw away the turbo motors in the Hondas, the car suddenly started hitting pole positions, getting wins. It's the right thing to do, obviously. Again, huge traffic here. There's that Porsche still in the wall there, hasn't been moved, and there's the little Mazda RX-7, the car that won at Sepang in Malaysia last time out. Of course, he's weighed down with quite a lot of weight now, penalty weight. Just having a look through the weights, Furman and Ito, the championship leaders in the Arta Honda NSX. They're carrying the most of the GT500 weights, 70 kilos of excess baggage they got. The Takata Dome NSX of Rio Mishigami Takashi Kogure, that's got 60 kilos. And Krum and Lyons in the Total Ortec Nissan Fairlady Z, they're carrying 60 as well. That's really a huge handicap around here. So one thing finishing second in the previous race at Sepang, which is flat, you've then got to bring a lot of weight to a hilly circuit like this, and this is very, very steep. I mean, think of Paddock Hill Bend at Brands Hatch, at this corner you're looking at now, and then the climb's right up there. It's a big, big climb that on that main straight, which then becomes has an incline of 12 degrees going up that part. Very, very steep indeed. Then drops down a bit. Right, just in front of them there's another interesting car, one we've been following, the Mooncraft Shiden, Toyota V8 powered. Very pretty car, the car of Kazuho Takahashi. It's the blue and yellow car there in the picture at the moment. Car that's built in Japan, named after the Kawanishi Japanese World War II fighter, the Shiden. Shiden in Japanese means violet lightning. So mid-engine cars generally doing quite well here. It has been the norm, but Supra proving to be the exception today. The Tsurumo SC430, we should say. The rebadged Supras, redesigned Supras of last year, now running as Lexuses. So Loic Duval, Sebastian Philippe, still running second and third, 12 of 81 laps now down. That Raybrigg car's got his hands full still of the two red Nissans behind him. Sugio Matsuda, Michael Krum, and then Andre Lotterer in the open interface Tom's Lexus. Now interestingly, Lotterer after the Fuji race was penalised 35 seconds for a collision with one of the backmarker Porsche Boxsters. Well, the team was not happy about that. It dropped them right down the order. It dropped them in fact down to 11th place in the race. They appealed it, went to the Japan Automobile Federation, appealed against it, and the appeal was successful, and they were given back their third place, moving back to third place in the championship. Well, just to make things difficult, that put them ahead of the two highest placed Nissans at Fuji. So Nissan has now appealed against the Japan Automobile Federation's decision, and it's subject to appeal again. So points are going to be provisional whatever happens here this afternoon, because that appeal still has to be heard in Tokyo early in August, we believe. It's a huge gaggle of cars here. It really is one of the big problems at these smaller circuits. Fuji and Suzuka, you can tend to break away and find your own space, but here very tight. And look at this, a move for third place. That is the car of Matsuda going ahead of Sebastian Philippe. And right behind them, the Motul car of Michael Krum. So first time in this race we've had any change of note in the GT500 category. We've all got some problems here. Well, that's two cars getting locked up there together. That is the Gym Center Ferrari of Tanaka. Looked like a racing accident, but he's stuck in the gravel trap there at the moment. That was in fact the Ebro BTEC 350Z involved in that, the blue and white car. Suba Kurosawa. Difficult to see who actually started that off, but it's certainly broken up the lead battle for GT300 there, because that car was caught up in the fight with the Kicho Huzan Duretsa Z of Koto Sasaki, which is leading that class at the moment. The Lamborghini of Apicella falling back a little in the class. So here's GT 500 once more. Just checking on the order there. So the first major change we've had in the race, that's Zanabi Z of Matsuda. He'll be handing that over to Satoshi Motoyama later. That car moving up into third ahead of the Raybrig NSX, but Mikael Krum will be handing over to Richard Lyons in fifth still in the Motul Ortec Nissan Z. So these cars, 500 horsepower, remember, from the same manufacturer. They have air restrictors, and depending on whether they're turbocharged and what sort of gearboxes they have. Engine, of course, is free within the engine compartment. You can keep it as it is originally. You can have it inline, you can have it transverse, whatever you want. Manual 6-speed transmissions, steel brakes, power steering, but no ABS, no automatic transmissions, and no telemetry, no carbon brakes. That's very important here. Flat bottom cars, front and rear space frames on the original cockpit with composite materials permitted for bumpers, bonnet, boot and doors. Where all sorts of national flags flying there, just indicating what an international driver series this has become. Might be a domestic series in Japan with just the three main manufacturers fighting out honours in GT 500, Toyota as Lexus, Nissan and Honda, but drivers pulled in from all over the world, as we've seen. British drivers, French drivers, even Andre Couto from Macau. He's here. Italians, as in Marco Apicella. Brazilians in the form of Gianpaolo Lima de Oliveira. And people such as Ralf Schumacher making their name in this series, along with John Nielsen back in the 1990s. It's like taking a gap year to go and race in Japan, and then you come back into Europe and suddenly there you are as a front runner. Very, very good grounding in both Japanese Formula 3, Super GT, and in the Japanese Formula Nippon, what replaced Formula 3000 and Japan's equivalent of what we now know as GP2. Well, our forum on motors is up and running tonight, so do give us a shout if you want to mention, and tell us what you think of Super GT. A few of them coming in already. Dino telling us he loves watching the Super GT series on motors. As some of the most exotic racing machines you can see on the planet. And he said for him it brings GT4 to life with the NSXs and 350Zs and their stunning liveries. Problem there. That's the Wed Sports Celica Matsuda, one of the Matsuda family going off there. Not a big problem. Spins out. Oh, and he spins it again, trying to get back. That's just too much welly, and that's going to cost him a whole bundle of time. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back in a minute or two at Sugo. Stay with us here on Motors. Welcome back to Motors. I'm Mark Cole, bringing you highlights from round 5 of the Japanese Super GT from Sugo. Big fight going on a little bit back in the pack. The number 8 fighting for 8th, rather. The Calsonic car now beginning to come back again, tangled up in the moment with the big battle that's been going on amongst the GT300 cars. That Mooncraft Shiden of Kazuhi Takahashi fighting its own battle at the moment with one of the VMAX. Huge variety of machines in GT300, unlike Big Brother GT500. There's our race leader then, still Toru Takagi. Sometime Formula 1 driver, sometime Champ Car driver, and the 2005 Super GT champion. All came down to the last race at Suzuka. Great end to the season. And that gap, just 1.1 seconds over Loac Duval of France in the Epson Honda NSX. Just maintaining that gap, but of course when traffic comes in, that's the problem. Well, here comes the Shiden. The car finished started, sorry, from the front row of the grid here this afternoon. Car's getting better and better every time it races. In Sepang had a very good race, finished in 4th in GT300. A little bit early for a routine stop. Looks like they have got a little bit of a problem with that car. It looks like the driver change going on there for that Shiden, and Kato will be taking over that car. Hiroki Kato from Takahashi, who was complaining apparently he was held up by traffic. Meanwhile, here's the overall battle continuing. There's the Epson car, just looking at the gap back now to the third placed Zanabi Nismo 350Z of Suge Matsuda. Fifth and sixth place battle. Well, the open interface Tom's car of Andre Lotter has now got itself ahead of the Motel car of Mikael Krum. We didn't see that while we're in the break. Into the pits then, the Mobil 1 SC340. That's the number 6 car of Tatsuya Kataoka, handing over to Akira Aida. Aida, of course, familiar to Le Mans and Le Mans Series racegoers in Europe. Motor car then now running in 6th. Mikael Krum going back a little bit there in the order. The car running on Bridgestones. Epson NSX up ahead of it on Dunlops, the rest of them all Bridgestones. And the Bridgestones seem to be working best here. That Porsche's still in the wall there. They're obviously not going to do anything about it. It's on the inside, it's not really in a dangerous place. 5 seconds that gap now spread up to. I think that's mainly traffic holding up Jacques Duval in the Epson car. Got caught up in a battle there, GT300 battle, and that just gave Toru Takagi the brake he needed to pull out. It's that steep climb there, 12 degrees up that hill, then down over the other side, flashing his headlights to get one of the GT300 back markers out of the way. Blue flags waving furiously all around the circuit. The slow car in the background there, someone in trouble. We'll see that again, but we now have confirmation that the Hankook Endless Ford has retired. It looks like the Ford GT is also out. The 300 car of the 55 car of Hiroshi Matsusuada and Daisuke Aikida. Transmission problem there telling us. Here's still our second place car, Jacques Duval. It's carving through the GT300 back markers again. Just have to make your own space here. It's a bit like threading the needle at times. Look at that, coming very rapidly past one of the VMAX there. And he's definitely losing time now, that gap getting wider and wider. There is our race leader, and there, just coming down the hill now, is second place Epson NSX. Third place is the 23 Zanabi Nismo Z of Sugio Matsuda. But Toru Takagi well in control here this afternoon. Bit of a lock up there for Jacques Duval. And he's starting to be hauled in now by the Zanabi Nissan. There it is, being pushed very hard indeed by Sugi Matsuda. That gap's coming down spectacularly, so the Epson car definitely compromised by the GT300 back markers. He's lost a bundle of time to the race leader, and he's being hauled in rapidly now by Matsuda in the 23 Nissan. So Nissan starting to get something out of their bad timing. I mean, it really has been a nightmare for Nissan coming here over the years. Last year it was a Supra 1234, in 2004 it was a Supra 123, and in 2003 it was a Supra 12. So Nissan have never ever really had a look in. It wasn't even a Nissan podium in 2003. Honda was third there, so Nissan hasn't seen the podium here since the beginning of the century. Matsuda from a famous racing family, big Matsuda collection, the Porsche, Japanese Porsche collection at Hakone near to Fuji Circuit. He's had a fairly distinguished career racing in Japanese Formula 3, second in the Super GT series in 2002 with 3 wins. Only 9th last year though, had a sort of didn't have such a good year last year, but he's teamed up with Satoshi Motoyama, who of course with Richard Lyons was champion in 2004. Well, in comes the Takata Dome NSX. This is the car which Ryo Mishigami started. Takashi Koguri is going to take it over. A fairly early stop again, but I think sometimes what happens, you get these drivers find that traffic's getting in their way, it's slowing them down a lot, so make your pit stop, the one and only pit stop, driver change, get the car back out with some clear air around it and move on. This man though is finding his own clear air. Toru Takagi still leading from Luc Duval from Sugo Matsuda. 3rd place in the Zanabi Z, and in 4th place will still be the Raybrig NSX to Sebastian Philippe. And then 5th place behind him, the open interface Toms, Lexus Andre Lotterer, and then Mikael Krum in the Motul Ortec Z. So the top 6 not stopping yet, but still that Zanabi car, the Nissan closing in. Here we are, it's just one car between them now, and Luc Duval desperately flashing his lights to try and get people out of the way. He's being reeled in. Not what he wanted today. Luc Duval, 3rd in the European Karting Championships, and really never quite made his name in France. Thought he'd go and try his luck in Japan. Finished 6th in the European Formula 3 Championship, 6th in the Macau Formula 3 Grand Prix last year, but this year picked up by Honda. There's Satoru Nakajima, who's always been a talent spotter, and thought he'd give Luc Duval an opportunity to see what he could do in this car. Well, it's certainly done a good job so far this season. Handed the car over. One of the Porsches in the background there, just being pushed off the track by our race leaders. And look how close this is now. This is Nissan about to be gobbled up by the Epson NSX. And that is for position. Let's see again. Here we go. Through goes the Nissan to take 2nd place away from Luc Duval. And we have a change of order. We'll be back after this break. We're back with motors, we're back with Super GT, round 5 from Sugo. Just watching our lead battle, lap 35 of 81, close to half distance. In comes our race leader, the Zenta Tsurumo car. This is Toru Takagi handing over to Yuji Tachikawa, deciding to make the stop while the going's good, almost at the halfway point. Cars being fueled, tyres then go on. You cannot work on the car while the fueling's been done, so that's all been done. A little bit slow there on the front. They normally try and work on the back first. A little bit of a problem on that front there. It's cost them a bit of time. That might come back and bite them a little later. So this is the Zenta Lexus SC430. What last year was the Toyota Supra, now running in different branding, different bodywork, basically the same underneath still. Now it goes at Yuji Tachikawa. And there then at the moment is our new race leader. That's the car we saw just before the break, taking advantage of a collision between the Epson NSX of Loic Duval, and the car he hit in fact was the little Mazda, the Mamiya Aspera Drink RX-7 Mazda of Hiroki Iri. That's the car that won in Sepang, and we've heard that Loic Duval is going to get a drive-through penalty for that, for putting that yellow Mazda GT300 off the track. So there's the order at the moment. The Zanabi Nismo car of Suge Matsuda leading. In comes then the open interface car that had just moved up into 5th place. Andre Lotra handing the car over to Juichi Wakisaka. So Lexus again choosing to make those starts while the fuel's going in at the back there. No work on the car. You can change the drivers, you can clean the screens, but you cannot touch anything else on the car. Wheel changes then, front tyres at the moment. Are they going to touch the back? They don't always do that. The Hondas particularly, only the fronts. No, it's fronts only. 31 seconds in for fuel and front tyres and a driver change, and back out into the race goes Juichi Wakisaka. So that stop-go penalty has been confirmed. We will be seeing the Epson NSX car doing a drive-through. What we're seeing now is, see if the 23 car has been able to get back out ahead. Another problem there, one of the Porsches sliding off the track, just getting itself back on. No, it's not a Porsche in fact, is it? That's the one of the Toyotas. GT300 crawling down the hill there. Well, there's the 36 car then, Wakisaka on board. I think that was Andre Couto we might have seen coming down the hill there, the AAA Saab Supra GT, one of the 2005 cars. So Motoyama at the moment on board the 23 car. There's the order. Well, that 23 car into the pits then. That's the Motul car rather, that's the 22 car. Mikael Krum going to hand over to Ulsterman Richard Lyons. Following in the Raybrid car, NSX of Sebastian Philippe. Philippe will hand over to Shinya Hosokawa. Motul car is in then. Raybrid car a little bit behind it, seeing which is going to be the quicker. Again, fuel goes in. Crew waiting to change those tyres. Fronts only for the Nissan there. Rears only for the Honda in the background. Honda comes out. 31 seconds, and he's going to beat him out. Yeah, just beats out the motor car. So that status quo maintained. So Shinya Hosokawa leading Richard Lyons back out onto the track. Well, problems there. That's the AAA car of Kuto coming in as the Navi car comes through. Sugio Matsuda. It's the car that was our race leader, the 23 car. I think he's a little bit compromised there, stuck behind Andrea Kuto's car that was crawling into the pit lane. We're looking around 30 seconds, as you know, for the time. The ideal stop. Fuel goes in the rear, front tyres. Waiting to change those. Tense moment for the wheelman there. It's a quick change though. The screen tear-off is ripped off. A little bit long though. 35.1 for Matsuda to hand over to Satoshi Motoyama. Motoyama, the 2004 champion with Richard Lyons. Well, here comes the Zetsurumo car, was our leader. Is he going to get out in front? No, he's not. So Tachikawa, Motoyama out on the track together, and there's the gap between them. So the Nissan gets out first. Tachikawa in the number one car got a little bit held up in traffic there, so he has a Nissan ahead of him. Not what they planned. Started that Lexus from pole position. The strategy was to keep that car out front at all times, but hasn't happened. There we are, Nissan leading here at last. Are they going to end that long drought of success here? Never had a win in the 12 years they've been here. This is the 13th time for the Japanese GT, or Super GT as it's now called, at the Sugo circuit here near the city of Sendai. Yuji Tachikawa immediately up to speed in that Zetsurumo Lexus, and look, he's really hunting down Motoyama now, but Motoyama is not a man who is easily going to be frightened. And Motoyama suddenly gets the message, I'm sure. You have got Tachikawa all over the back of you. Motoyama, one of the most successful drivers in Japanese racing now. This is the official factory car, but 23 car, 23 in Japanese being Nissan, which is why they use that number. In comes the Epson car, the NSX car, Loic Duval, handing over to Hideki Muto. And look at this battle now between Nissan and Lexus. Great stuff here. Satoshi Motoyama then, long and distinguished career, as we said, won the Japanese G title in 2003 as well as the Formula Nippon title. Won it again in 2004 and won the Formula Nippon title again in 2005, and in Japan that is just about as good as it gets. Interestingly, this series, the Super GT, still considered to be more important. He's alongside going down the hill. Is he going to go the long way around? No, it's Motoyama just pushes him over, said no, this is a fabulous fight. This is for the lead here at Sugo, and these two cars are going at it hammer and tongs. A long way to go yet. 81 laps is the race distance. At the moment we're on about lap 40. Yellow flag flying there. Someone's gone off ahead of them, so Tachikawa's going to have to back off for a second. Well, great racing here in the Super GT, world's fastest GT series. And again, Tachikawa looking left and right, just trying to get a slipstream off the Nissan ahead of him. Nissan 3.5 litre V6, twin turbo. The Lexus 4.5 litres of V8, normally aspirated. So great action here in front of a big crowd, 80,000 people here at Sugo watching this fight between Nissan and Lexus. Down the hill again, Yuji Tachikawa trying all he can to take the lead off Satoshi Motoyama. If you've just joined us, this one was decided in the last pit stop. Toru Takagi handed over the Lexus in the lead to Yuji Tachikawa, but Suge Matsuda was quicker getting into the pits than Takagi was, and when Satoshi Motoyama came out, he was just ahead of the Lexus. So Nissan and Lexus overshadowing Honda here this afternoon. Great fight going on. Every corner being fought over. Very, very clean though, not touching. Two experienced drivers. Great respect for each other. Good friends as well, Tachikawa and Motoyama. They've been racing together for probably the last 10 years. But Motoyama certainly seems to have the better car underneath him at the moment, because whatever Yuji Tachikawa tries, Motoyama can reply to. Here we go again over the hill. Is this going to be the move for the lead? Down the hill, and Tachikawa's alongside yet again, but no, Motoyama has the inside line into turn one. Well, this is absolutely great stuff. GT300 we're not seeing anything of at the moment, but I can tell you now there are similarly great battles going on there. We have got the great fight going on between the Nissans there, the privateer Nissans, the Shiden, the VMAX. It's about 5 cars in a big gaggle at the moment fighting for the GT300 lead. Their pit stops halfway through. Great view down the hill there, one of the steep drops here at Sugo. And Motoyama flashing to one of the VMAX ahead of him. We're coming through, keep out of our way. Good driving there by all three. Well, in comes the endless Advan car. This is one of our front-running GT300 cars. That 13 car of Masamiya Kageyama being handed over to Tomonobu Fuji. And believe me, I'm not making these names up. But still, at the moment, it's Motoyama. And he was teamed with Richard Lyons for the last 2 years. Then when Richard decided not to continue with Super GT, Motoyama took on Suge Matsuda as his co-driver. Now Richard's come back to join Mikael Krum in that 22 car. Still it goes on around the circuit. Lap after lap, 43 laps now completed, and the nothing to call, far too close to call this. Nissan Lexus train coming down the hill past the little Sparadrink Mazda RX-7 there. A car that got pushed off earlier and resulted in a drive-through penalty for Loic Duval in the Epson NSX. Well, that hurt Luc Duval and Hideki Muto's plans. That car dropped down to about 5th place as a result of that. And this is where the real action is this afternoon. Lexus chasing Nissan. The best of the Hondas starting to fade. A promising start, but it's not been so good since. This is keeping everyone on their feet this afternoon. One of the best races we've seen this year. Certainly for the lead battle, nobody breaking away. defending champions Tachikawa and Takagi have been plagued with trouble. Couldn't take the points they wanted. But with this race, suddenly they found their car is on absolutely brilliant form. They're only carrying 10 kilos of excess weight, which obviously helps. Mind you, Motoyama and Matsuda only have 20, so these two cars running very, very near the minimum weight that they're allowed. Start off with 1,000 kilos of weight, no, 1,100 kilos of weight rather for GT500. So this is the Duretsa Z, one of the Nissans. This car's involved in that lead battle for GT300 here this afternoon. Kota Sasaki and Taku Banba. But again, the Lexus dives down the inside, can't get past Motoyama, and Motoyama just shuts the door on Tachikawa. Nothing in it at all. So Nissan leads GT500, and Nissan, until they've just made their stops, has been leading GT300 as well. Here comes the Epson NSX car. This is its drive-through penalty. Comes all the way down the pit lane here, long pit lane, takes the penalty, and back out onto the track. So that's hurt Honda, because that car was the one that they were really relying on this weekend to get them the win. Championship leader Ralph Furman and Daisuke Ito, they're hampered by their 70 kilos. It really hurts around here, and they're gradually dropping back down the order. It looks like they're going to be a lap before the end of the race. Oh, another off. One of the Toyota Supras. The barrier's just knocking a rear corner there. Goes past more back markers, and still Satoshi Motoyama drawing on every bit of his skill to keep the Zensarumo Lexus SC430 at bay. And look, this is where this could so easily spoil it for him. You get into traffic and you've only got to make the wrong choice, follow the wrong car, and suddenly the man is chasing you is past. But oh, he's put some distance in now. That one hurt Tachikawa. He got held up badly there. It's a Subaru Impreza, by the way, just there in the mixture. So Motoyama trying to capitalize on that. Bit of a hold up there for the Lexus. So at the moment, we believe the Apple Shiden of Takahashi and Kato is leading in GT300 from the Directive Advant 320R, the car of Shogo Mitsuyama. And in comes the Takata Dome. NX3, this is another car not going anywhere, being pushed away. That's Ryo Mishigami, Takashi Kogura's car. I don't know what their problem is at the moment. Oh, we have another off, the 25. Eclipse Advent Supra of Manabu Orido. Big spin there out at turn 4. Got back on the track, but he's lost time, obviously. Dirt all over those rear tyres. As through goes the Calsonic Impulse Z and the Epson NSX, fighting their own battle now. Loac Duval's car now in the hands of Hideki Muto, dropped back into the clutches of the Calsonic car. Benoit Trullier having handed over to Kazuki Hoshino. No still on board according to the caption. Maybe we haven't seen a stop for that car yet. A number of the French drivers here, 4 or 5 of them racing in Japan, including Eric Comas. Himself has been a past Japanese GT champion. So 50 laps now completed. We're in this virtual period until everyone has made their pit stops. We need to know who will emerge as the virtual top 6. It's the real top 6. Calsonic Nissan. Calsonic being the radiator division of Nissan. Long-time sponsor of the factory cars. Hideki Muto. Waklival on the Epson NSX. Meanwhile, still this fabulous battle between our virtual leaders. The Zenitsurumo car of Tachikawa still unable to close in on the Zanabi Nismo Fair Lady Z. Is it going to go right the way to the last 30 laps like this? We're hearing that Takata Doma NSX of Mishigami & Co. had electrical problems. They're actually in the pits at the moment. Flashing his way through, keeping this battle up. And we know this car has to stop, the Calsonic car. Not clear at the moment if the Epson car has stopped or not, but there is in fact, the virtual leadership shows the Calsonic car leading at this moment. Yes, because he has yet to stop. So the Zanabi Nismo, he does, now he stops, so now the Zanabi Nismo is our real leader again, just ahead of the Zenitsurumo car. So the lead battle will continue. Trellier coming in to hand over to Kazuki Hoshino. Number 12 car, of course, run by Kazuyoshi Hoshino, father of Kazuki, and himself a former GT champion, factory driver for Nissan in the Group C days at Le Mans and the World Championship, and also many times former Nippon champion. Well, we're going to take a short break as we watch Trulli handing his car over to Hoshino. Stay with us on Motors for the rest of our coverage here from Sugo. Still fabulous racing here from Sugo, lap 55 of 81, and still no change in the top of the field. It's still Motoyama, Satoshi Motoyama in the Zanabi Nismo Z, holding off Yuji Tachikawa in the Zenitsurumo Lexus SC430 as they battle out this midway season race 5 of 9. Other 4 to go then after that. We move on next race to the Suzuka 1,000 kilometers in August. September, the Motegi 300 kilometers, twin ring Motegi. In October, the Autopolis 300 kilometers, and in November we finish the season at Fuji. A very, very long season always, March to November. They always make sure there is one race a month through those 9 months, and that keeps everyone on their toes. And only a 3 months off season, not a lot of time for development. The development work this year has been done principally by Toyota with the Lexus. This car we're looking at now, the front-running Lexus Tsurumo car. This is the car in the hands of last year's champions, Toru Takagi, Yuji Tachikawa, still looking for their first win of 2006. Season plagued by all sorts of problems, but they've really got it hooked up today. At the moment, though, their main problem is Satoshi Motoyama, having taken over the Zanabi Nismo 350Z from Sugeo Matsuda, and that's the car that's holding him off. It's the only car that's between them and victory here at Sugo this afternoon. Great circuit, 3.7 kilometers, very, very undulating, 70 meters of elevation changes. But as we said earlier, Nissan has never ever won here in 12 previous races. 13th time Super GT's been here. Those of you who follow World Superbikes or know this track well, it's been hosting the WSB since 1991. It's also Yamaha's test track. So Yamaha has a great investment here. It's the same as Honda owns Suzuka, and Toyota now owns Fuji Speedway. Of course, Honda also owning Twin Ring Motegi. So no real loyalty here to anyone. Big crowd here. Come from Sendai, big city, big, very European, French-looking city with wide boulevards here in the Miyagi Prefecture of the northern part of Hoshino. That's the main island of Japan. Races throughout Japan this year. The only one's missing Hokkaido, where they've been in the past, which is the northernmost island of the Japanese archipelago. No races up there this year, but they are back at Fuji twice and Suzuka twice as well, so multiple visits this year. Still working on this championship to try and make it more international. That's why it was renamed Super GT rather than Japanese GT, but apart from the one race in Malaysia each year, they haven't really progressed outside the shores of Japan. They did have a trial in America 2 years ago, didn't really work. Didn't go back there. So here's our race leader. No, sorry, not race leader. Third place now, Motor Lortec Z, Mikael Krum, Richard Lyons. Richard at the wheel. Now Richard doing a good job. He is much faster already than Mikael Krum was, his German teammate, and he's moving up through the order. You saw him there flashing as he came past one of the backmarker Nomad cars. That's the Nomad Advan Legion MT. The number 9 car, that's the Mosler, 6-litre Chevrolet V8. The only Mosler in captivity in Japan. Lamborghini unfortunately has fallen down the order. Expecting better things out of the Lambo this weekend after their win at Suzuka in the opening race of the year. The car then went to Le Mans 24 Hours where it finished. First time Lamborghini had ever raced at Le Mans. Very difficult to believe that, but absolutely true. Well, here's the big battle going on then between some of the other cars. The Directive 320R there, the number 27 car, that is the car driven by Shogo Mitsuyama, Nobuteru Nachigara, and that's the VMAC 320R, the Advan car. That car sponsored by Directive, powered by Honda. That's the 3.4-litre Honda V6. Now Directive, all sorts of trouble. You've probably seen what's been going on in GP2 and Formula 1. Directive is a big Japanese holding company which had in which John Lacey had been involved. They made a bid for Formula One, but it failed, and Directive pulled their sponsorship from GP2. They were sponsoring Dave Price's team. They pulled that sponsorship, and Lacey says they are no longer involved in motorsport. But at the moment, this car, the white car in front, that is still the Directive Advan VMAX. So interesting to see what develops over that, as we just saw in the pits there. That is the other of the Lamborghinis. That was the Actio Murcielago teammate, the Trike Japan Murcielago of Koji Yamanishi and Wadakyu. So great battle then here. The Shiden still chasing hard. Both these cars, of course, mid-engined, and that really does suit this circuit. Both of them V8 powered. The Shiden 4.2 litre Toyota. This lead battle continues, and still there's just nothing at the moment that Tachikawa can do. He's pushing as hard as he can. Both on Bridgestone tyres. Both made their pit stops within 2 laps of each other, so carrying similar fuel loads, similar tyre wear there. Well, that's the Red Sport Toyota spinning out. And Celica Wakisaka at the wheel. It's a driver error there. Little 2 litre 4-cylinder turbo motor in the back of that car. That car at the moment in 31st place overall. Well, here's the battle for 3rd and 4th places at the moment in GT300. It's Nissan's ahead of them. The Duretsa Z and the Endless Advan Z ahead of them. The 46 and 13 cars. And still Tachikawa cannot hunt down Motoyama. Closes up, only to get into traffic, and then the gap widens up again. Seems to be the way it's going on. Again, you see a back marker gets in the way, and it's just enough to really block him. And look how that lets Motoyama suddenly get away again. Tachikawa must be seething there, and he almost gives a love tap to that little blue Toyota as he goes past it. So is this going to be the day that Nissan finally breaks its duck here at Sugo? It's taken 13 years. And Motoyama, every time he is able to put the car there. Oh, we got another spinner there. That's it. There's still the Red Sport Celica. That car hasn't moved. That's the car we saw spinning earlier. Surely they're going to move that car. It's been there for 2 laps now. Got himself stuck on the curbs there. It's down the hill. Come on, race leaders. Been a good season for Lexus. Wins at the beginning of the season for Andre Lotter and Juichi Wakisaka, and again at Fuji for Peter Dumbrek and Naoki Hattori. That was then traded off by victory for Honda, Ryo Mishigami, Takashi Kogure in the second round at Okayama, and then Ralph Furman and Daisuke Ito in round 4 in Sepang. So who's going to come out top today? Is it going to be Nissan at last? Nissan has not won a race this year. Officials now getting that Toyota moved off the racing line right on the apex. Well, this is the car we were talking about earlier, which is currently leading in GT300. This is the Kicho Huzan Duretsa Z. Kota Sasaki, and now on board Taku Banba. As we said, unlike its big brothers, this car does not have a turbocharged engine. There's the second place car, the Endless Advan CCI Z of Masami Kageyama and Tomonobubi Fuju. And a change here, the third place. That is the Shiden going through ahead of the VMAC. Can the VMAC get it back? No, he can't. And right in front of them is the Sepang winning Amemiya Aspara Drink Mazda RX-7, which they're about to put one lap down. But that's a change for position we just saw there. Rocky Kato, well known to British racegoers, doing a good job in that blue and yellow Shiden. Beautiful looking car. Looks more like a Group C car than any other GT car here now. Certainly those who are wondering where David Leslie is in our broadcast tonight. David racing Group C, in fact, at Silverstone at the Bonhams Classic weekend. A bit of a problem. It's due to drive the Ford C100. That car broke and then went to share his Aston Martin. Problems with that, so wasn't able to start. Bad luck, David, but anyway, we're holding the flag for here. We're going to take a short break. We will be back in just a minute. Welcome back, race fans. This is Mark Cole looking at round 5 of Super GT from Sugo. And this is our lead battle, which has been going on now for a couple of dozen laps. It is the Navi Nismo 350Z of Satoshi Motoyama being hounded by the Zensurumo Lexus SC430 of Yuji Tachikawa. They were given their cars by Toru Takagi in the Lexus and by Sugo Matsuda in the Nissan, and they've carried on the battle that's been going on since the Zensurumo car started from pole position. Great racing here in Sugo, and there's a big fight going on further down as well. Here is Daisuke Ito, the man who's showing his Arta NSX with championship leader Ralph Furman. The first time we've actually seen them in this race, and they are the championship leaders after winning last time in Sepang in Malaysia. And if they can finish in the top 8 this afternoon, they will stay in the championship lead, I believe. We'll check that out as the race comes towards its conclusion. 81 laps, they are now on lap 66 of 81. And still there's nothing that Tachikawa can do with the Lexus to try and get it ahead of Satoshi Motoyama. Just got the fastest lap of the race, 1:18.433. Still way off Andre Lotter's record lap of 1:15.8, which he set last year. So considerably down on times today. Track hasn't really come to the cars. Very green track. It's been rain the last 3 days. Qualifying was in the wet, most of the practice sessions in the wet. It's only really today during the race that they've actually finally been able to lay rubber down. But look at this. I think Yuji Tachikawa is getting the move on up signs from his pits. They go past the car that's running third in GT300. That is the Shiden, the Mooncraft Shiden. Ahead of that Shiden, 2 other Nissans, the Duretz Z and the Endless Advan Z, which are running first and second at the moment. So neither of these two front-running cars carrying a huge amount of weight. 10 kilos for the Lexus, 20 kilos for the Navi Nismo. Neither of these cars has won this year, so still way down the weight scales. Weight goes on at a rate of 30 kilos for a win, 20 for a second, 10 for a third, etc. It goes up to a maximum of 120 kilos. Well, no one's got near that this year. We've got 2 cars in this race that are running at 70. The Arta NSX of Dieter and Furman, and the Directive Advan car, that's running at 65, not 70, but that's the second heaviest car in the race in GT300, and that car at the moment has just been pushed down to 4th place by the Shiden. And again, the factory Nissan Still able to hold off the factory Lexus. Z-Sumo car running number 1 in honour of its Toyota Supra predecessors championship last year. The team is run by Naosuke Oshisawa, run out of Shizuoka in Japan. The Tsurumo team, which gives its name to this, he's an engineer who's really helped, run by Masayuki Sato, who's given his support to well-known drivers racing at home and abroad. And Tachikawa has been a major figure in GT racing for years. Off goes the Raybrig car there, which had been handed over by Sebastian Philippe to Shinya Hosokawa. It's not helping his cause at all. It's already gone down 1 lap, and it's now dropping down the order to 11th, I think, after that. Traffic starting to get a problem again. Now this is going to hurt Motoyama if he can't get through this big bunch of cars. And Tachikawa will be looking to try and capitalise on that. Hasn't got a lot longer to do it now. We're getting towards the last 10 laps of this race. A little bit cloudy, gloomy again now, as you can see. Clock's ticking away. Coming past the Lamborghini, which Marco Apicella started from pole position. Handed over to Yasutuka Hinoi, but the car's been in and out of the pits. It's now 3 laps down in the GT300 class. And look at this, great passing by both our leaders there. 2 red cars, one the Lexus, the other the Nissan. So if Tachikawa is going to do about this, he's going to have to move soon. There is our GT300 confirmation of the order. That Toy Story Toyota MRS in 5th place at the moment. We've mentioned the 2 Nissans, we've mentioned the Scheiben, we've mentioned the VMAC there, the Directive VMAC 320R, and then the Boxster, the Total Benefit Boxster of Hideshi Matsuda, Ichiko Suga. That's in 6th place. That car's had quite a good season so far. It's been one of the unexpected successes. There's the Scheiden still holding off the VMAC. About 5 seconds behind the Endless Nissan, which in turn is right with the Durezza Nissan. So a great battle developing here between these cars. They all tend to bunch up a little bit now as they lap the car that started from pole. Actio Murcielago RG1, Yasutuka Hinoi on board at the moment. And in goes the Lamborghini. What's happening up ahead? Goes down a lap as our top 4-5 GT300 cars come through. Really bunched up now here at Sugo. But what's happening in GT500? We're still looking to see if Satoshi Motoyama is holding off Yuji Tachikawa. Here we are. Yeah, Motoyama still leading. Lap 71 then of 81. 10 to go. Can Tachikawa do anything at all? This race surely is going to be decided by traffic. They're coming up on another bunch of cars up ahead, and this could again perhaps force the issue. Motoyama will be doing all he can to thread his way through. Such an experienced racer here in Japan. There they are up the hill, a little bunch of GT300 cars, and they're closing in on them rapidly. Neither of these drivers having put a wheel wrong the whole of their stint. Last 30 laps also they've been like this. That's their problem ahead. Big gaggle of cars. Motul Z just crossing the line behind them. Richard Lanz at the wheel. He's closing in on them every lap. Still 27 seconds back, but it was a bigger gap when he took over the car. Satoshi Motoyama then now right with his back markers. Through he goes, has to carve his way through them. And if Tachikawa wants to get ahead, he's going to have to really force the issue now. Look at this, they're right together. Motoyama goes once. Oh, Motoyama's blocked! He's blocked, and Tachikawa goes through. So the first time in about 30 laps, Tachikawa's taken the lead here at Sugo. Well, great move there. Well, Motoyama just had no choice in that. He had to go one side or the other. He had no room to go back the other way. Look at this again. Here we go. He's going to go to the right. He can't do it because Tachikawa was there, and he loses out big time. Great driving. Neither of them touch. So this race has it been decided now in favour of our defending champions, Tachikawa and Takagi. Motoyama could do nothing about that. He and Matsuda, having done everything right in the Zanavi Nismo Z, carrying 10 kilos more than the car ahead. But look how the Zensurumo Lexus is now starting to pull away. Here's the battle then, still going on for GT300 second place, the endless Z Nissan. Tomonobu Fuji on board at the moment, and the Shiden having a go at it then. Kazuho Takahashi coming down the hill there's got a more slippery car, tries to go down the inside of the 350Z, cannot do it. Neither of these cars, of course, turbocharged. No turbos allowed in GT300. The endless car, 3.5 litre V6. Shiden 4.2 litre Toyota V8. So it's all coming together in this closing laps here at Sugo. Great battles in GT500 and in GT300. We're into the closing stages here at Sugo, round 5 of the Super GT from Japan. These are race leaders, the two red cars, the Zensurumo Lexus of Yuji Tachikawa, having just passed Satoshi Motoyama in the Zanavi Nissan. After a fabulous battle over the last 30 laps, they're up behind the back marker at the moment, and there's another chance for Motoyama to come past up that steep start straight under the start gantry. And Tachikawa flashing his lights. They would like that back marker Nissan to get out of the way, please. Although he's not going to be in a hurry to do it, is he? Because he knows there's another Nissan behind. They come up over themselves on more traffic. This is a chance here for Motoyama to try and pull the lead back. Can do nothing at the moment. Neither of them able to get past this car they're about to lap. That's the Wudoni Advan Kondo Z of Masataka Yanagida and Seiji Ara, the man, of course, who won Le Mans 2 years ago. Here's the battle for second place still in GT300. Again, the Shiden going through on the inside. Can't quite do it. Well, just went to go through on the inside. Thought again about it, and quite a big steering connection over the curbs there. Couldn't get past the endless car. So the director not knowing which battles to follow. This one for the overall lead, or the incredible, breathtaking battle for GT300 that's developed, because the way things are going at the moment, the top 4 cars are all closing in on each other here at SUGO. So last race GT300 winner, the yellow Mazda there, RX-7, gets out of the way of our race lead battle overall for the GT500 category. There is Yuji Tachikawa. And there behind him, Satoshi Motoyama, falling back a little bit now. Well, here is our GT300 leader, Takubamba, at the wheel of the Kicho Huzan Duretsa Z. There behind him, the battle going on between the Endless Z and the Privé Zurich Shiden, the Mooncraft Shiden. These cars now hauling in Banba. All closing up in the closing stages. Kicho Huzan team started racing in GT300 last year with a factory supplied Z. We took one win in the series. Kicho Huzan, by the way, is a Japanese sake drink. Still, here is Kazuho Takahashi trying everything he can in the Mooncraft Shiden to get past Fuji in the Endless Advent car. It's all going down to the wire. Dunlop on the leading GT300. These two cars we're looking at now, both on Yokohama tyres. Amazingly equally matched. In comes the number 6 car. That's the Mobile 1 SC of Akiri Aida. They've got a drive-through penalty. Not clear for what that is, but possibly for one of those earlier collisions. So 4 to go, and it's looking good now for the Zetsurumo Lexus. Pulled out 4.5 seconds now. I think again Motoyama being compromised by backmarker traffic. There's our top 3 order in GT500. The Motul Z car of Richard Lyons right up there in the chase. The best race that car's had this year. Just needed some input, I think, from Richard to lift that up a little bit. Mikhail Krum and Sakon Yamamoto saw the podium in Okayama in the second round of the series, but today they're going to repeat their second place perhaps in Sepang, or is it too much to call now? Just 3 laps to go. that gap's actually grown a bit, so Richard unable to haul them in. It was 27, it's gone to 29 seconds now. And there is Toru Takagi, familiar face, watching from the pits as the last couple of laps unwind, and it's going to be a famous victory for sure, isn't it? Last year's championship leaders finally going to take their first win of 2006. Taken them 5 races to do it, but Nissan, for all their efforts, are not going to be able to break their duck of 13 appearances here at Sugo without a win. It's a different story in GT300, of course, where Nissan are 1-2 at the moment, and that's looking very, very good for them. But all eyes, of course, are on GT500. Having said that, here is our lead car. Well, look, they're all grouping up now. We've got a big battle on now for GT300. The endless car, the Mooncraft Scheiden, the Drexiv Advan VMAC, all bunching up together now. And right behind them as well, that Toy Story Racing Toyota MRS of Nita and Takagi, that too. Running on the same lap, just 6 cars on the same lap now. 2 laps then. And surely Yuji Tachikawa is not going to throw it away now. He's already pulled out some 7 seconds over Satoshi Motoyama. Good afternoon's work by the 2 Japanese crews. Only the second time this season that an all-Japanese crew has won the race. You have to go back to Ryo Mishigami, Takashi Kogura in round 2. And Okayama for the last time an all-Japanese crew won here in the Super GT. Well, into the final lap. Look at this great battle then for GT300. I think GT500 we can assume is done and dusted. There is Tachikawa. Just a few more corners to go and he'll beat Motoyama and Richard Lanz. 1, 2, 3 for Lexus, Nissan and Nissan. This is where the real battle is. Look at this. We've got the 2 Nissans and we've got the Scheiden, and right on their tail as well we've got the that white VMAC. This is our race GT500 leader that's carving through that. But look, we've got the 4 GT300 leaders all together now down that straight there as Tachikawa goes down through on the inside. Well, he gets blocked just for a moment there by the Nissan of Takabambu. Soon breaks away from there. But now we're going to have a grandstand finish in GT300. The gap is too big in GT500 for fireworks. It's 8 seconds, but it's GT300 everyone's watching. What a fabulous battle here as they go into the last couple of corners. Who's going to pull it off? It's got 2 Nissans. We've got the Scheiden side by side going up the hill for the last time. Oh, he's alongside. The Scheiden goes through. He goes through into second, but can he hold it? Can he hold it over the hill? No, he can't. The Nissan just goes through again on, and right behind them the VMAC goes through, and there's just 0.7 of a second covers the first 4 home in GT300. Well, that surely will be the closest GT300 finish in the history of the series. It was just absolutely nothing to call between second and third there, both on 0.4 of a second, and this is being measured in thousands. But anyway, the Zensarumo SC430 of Yuji Tachikawa, Toru Takagi wins GT500, and here is the Kicho Huzan Director Z of Kota Sasaki and Takubamba winning in GT300. What a finish to the race. Sugo really has come up with some great controversy over the years, but this has been really spectacular this afternoon, and that leaves the points. Ito and Furman still out front, but Tachikawa and Tagi in GT500 now in second place, and that gives Takahashi and Kato in GT300 a big fillip in their move. Well, that ends our coverage today. Glad you could be with us here. We'll see you at the Suzuka 1000 kilometers in a month's time.